I have never felt so lost, while at the same time being right where I wanted to be. That is how I feel while playing No Man's Sky. Anytime this game gets brought up, people want to talk about how disappointing it was when it first released, or how much it's improved since then. This video isn't about that because I can't do that, nor do I want to. See, on release, No Man's Sky never once cropped up on my radar. I've never really been into survival games, and when I heard about it, I just wasn't interested. What I can do though, is tell you what it's like for a first-time player to stumble into this world. Because a few weeks ago, on a whim, I installed the game. I woke up next to a broken down ship, on a desolate planet, all alone, and I haven't put the controller down since. It doesn't take long in No Man's Sky to see how truly open the game is. Moments after being given control, you realize that there aren't any boundaries, and if you can see it, you can go to it. The game always starts out the same, with you lost on an unknown planet, needing to fix your suit, find shelter, and repair your ship. It does technically have a main quest line that continues after those first few things are done, but it's less of a main story and more of an elaborate tutorial that guides you through the game's massive amount of content. I did go through the main quest, but honestly it's more of an afterthought and not even worth talking about here. What is worth talking about is that as soon as your ship is repaired, which only takes a few minutes, you're free to do whatever you want. Calling this a sandbox would be an understatement. It's more like an endless amount of sandboxes, all next to each other, all having something to do in them. And there's a lot you can do. Whether that's exploring planets, traveling space, finding new creatures, mining resources, fighting pirates, being a pirate, building base, or an endless amount of other things, it is hard not to find at least something enjoyable in No Man's Sky. This openness is the game's biggest positive, and simultaneously one of the biggest negatives. For some people, it can be a bit overwhelming not having a set goal outlined by the game. You have to rely on your own imagination and set your own goals to accomplish. That's different for everyone, and personally, I went through phases. At one point, I was traveling the galaxy looking for pirates to fight. Another time, I just wanted to build a massive base. Or my current goal that has had me spending the better part of a week making as much money as possible to be able to afford a carrier so I can park all my ships on it. No matter what I set my sights on though, I had a fun time doing it. This was because all of the basics are done well. Whether it's exploring on foot, using weapons in combat, or flying in space, all of the controls feel just good. Follow that up with solid in-game systems that have you using resources to craft blueprints, and it's a recipe for genuinely fun and creative gameplay. Graphically though, No Man's Sky is a little bit more hit and miss. There are times where it's absolutely beautiful to look at. You will stumble upon a planet with wild colored grass, or anytime you're speeding through the stars in your ship, you will think the game looks really good. However, when you slow down and really look at things, it's not quite as pretty. Some areas are sparse of things to look at and they can lack any type of detail. Other times you may come across things in the distance that just pop in and out constantly. A lot of this has to do with the way the planets and areas are procedurally generated, so for me I can overlook the graphics for the most part, but it could be a bigger deal for some people. When we talk about the soundtrack however, we go right back to the good. It's not the type of soundtrack that makes you want to go out and buy a copy to listen to in your spare time, but it does fit the game perfectly. When you're out exploring or gliding through space, the music will reflect that with tons of mystery and ambience. It nails the feeling of being out there alone, or, what I imagine that feeling would be. Honestly, it just sets the mood. What's the final verdict though? All in all, I think No Man's Sky is an amazing experience. It's not perfect, and it's not for everybody. But if this is the kind of thing you do like, you can't do much better. I give No Man's Sky a B+, and I highly recommend it. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps us out and lets us know that you like what we are doing. Also, if you made it this far, thank you for putting up with my voice. I'm not sure how bad it fluctuated, but I'm sure it wasn't the best thing you've ever listened to. But hopefully it'll be back to normal soon. Anyway, I'm Zach with Amateur Game Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.